another episode of Call to Purpose. I'm Amy Coppola, and I'm here with Tony Riley, the author of Bright Side of Broken. Today we will be discussing goal setting. So as clients come to life coaching, we typically start with a goal, whether it's changing one particular aspect of your life, if you want to change, and you could do the 8 different areas of your life and come up with a goal for each section of your life. Or you can just start small with one goal. Typically, we like to have clients learn about themselves. There are a lot of, personality tests that you can do to learn about yourself and your abilities and skills. I know you've taken personality test before?
Yeah, I've done a few. I know the Myers-Briggs is a big one that's pretty popular.
Yeah.
There's a few others out there that are.
Yeah.
Then you discover your personality type and
your strengths, what you might need to work on.
Strength Finder is another one.
Yeah.
Comes with a book and you do the test online and
Yeah, that's cool. Great. Every January I do all the goals for the different aspects of my life, and I use a program called Cultivate What Matters. You can find them online. But I do have yearly goals, and then I do check-ins every month, and then you do a big check-in in the quarter.
Oh.
So I find that works really well for me to stay focused on what I want to work on.
So it's called Cultivate What Matters?
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
So you go online and you...
I actually buy the planner because I know that a lot of people love digital, but I like to have the physical paper and just sit, just kind of in silence and quiet.
Your goals down.
Yeah, write
down. Does it prompt you and help you
It does.
Okay.
And even in the beginning, when you do it in January, you start with abstract ideas and it starts to whittle it down. So it's really helpful to actually focus you.
That's interesting.
Yes. So
it's intriguing.
Yeah. I will have to share it with you so you can check it out. Yeah. But yeah, I've done that for the last 3 or 4 years. And there are 2 women that I mentor that I always say they're me 20 years ago. And I actually buy them planners every year at Christmas, just so that they can put their goals down and come up with ideas on areas of improvement,
for the year.
Yeah, they seem to love it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you find that people, do you find that you actually do meet your goals when you?
I do. Yes.
Have goal setting?
Yes. I think it's important when you put them down and even the check-ins, right? Checking in to make sure that, where am I at with this goal, that goal. Sometimes I don't make all the goals, but then they kind of carry over to the next year, right? Or you do what you can. So, yeah.
Yes.
And you mentioned increasing 10%. Do you want to tell us about that?
Oh, yes. So being a coach, and being a personal trainer at one point, it's important to set goals with exercise. And so, depending on whether you want to run your first 5K or if you want to run a marathon, or you want to build muscle, there's ways of increasing. You start small. I think we talked about that. You start small and you work your way up. So you can't just start lifting, 300 pounds on your first day at the gym, because we don't want you to get injured. So we start small and then we work our way up. So the way we do that is we have when I do these plans for clients, we increase either the mileage or the weight or whatever it may be by 10%.
Okay.
So
that's nice. I know
that's kind of the tool that we used when we were coaching.
So you kind of build up to it.
Yeah, we build up to whatever goal it is that they're
nice
striving for.
Yeah. And I will share this. Last year my goal was to feel better, right? So I did the Dutch test, got on the right supplements, and I'm working towards that. And I know this week we've had a discussion about how do I get back into running. And we talked about, hey, just go run a mile, see how you feel, right?
Yep.
And I know that you get kind of the runner's high, your endorphins and stuff. So
Yeah. Some people do.
yes,
Some people don't. But
you may be my accountability partner this year to just send me notes and say, hey, have you run a mile today?
Okay.
Yeah,
Very
so-
good. Very good.
Yeah.
And that's actually a good point about having an accountability partner.
Right.
Because
It's
when
like
you
that
have
little voice in your head.
Yes, when you have an accountability partner, and it can be one-sided or it can be mutual, where you
Right.
help each other meet your goals.
Yeah.
Like, how's it coming? How are you feeling today? Did you do what you said you were going to do? And,
Right.
Keep people on track, because I don't like to disappoint people. So if
Yeah,
I have an
neither do
accountability
I.
partner,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if I have an accountability partner, it's like, oh, I better do that before I have this conversation, or
Yes.
I'm going to
like,
be.
I don't
want
wanna
to fail that
disappoint Tony.
test. Exactly.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
really beneficial to
Yeah.
have someone that you can.
Yeah. I just signed you
share
up
that
for
with.
that.
Oh, okay. Assignment accepted.
I do want to share, right? If you keep your goals simple and you start out, you can always increase. It doesn't have to be the 10%. If you feel good and you want to run further, just as an example, you could do that. But give yourself some grace too, right?
Exactly. And if you're not feeling well, and sometimes when people increase, depending on
Right.
circumstantial things in life that just happen,
Right.
that are out of your control, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. If you get sick, you don't want to meet. You don't want to
Right.
do what you were set out to do, because then you can do damage and
Yeah.
feel worse. So
Yeah.
give yourself some grace, absolutely. And
Yeah. Okay.
if
Yeah,
you
I
miss a
just-
day, it's okay.
Right.
Just get back on the wagon and
Right.
start back on the next day.
Right. And if you do need help, we do have life coaches that can help with that. So, and there are different areas. I know that we've talked about the physical side. Professionally, you might want to get a particular certification. Financial, you may want to get out of debt or save for a vacation or save for your child's education. Right. You may have different goals like that. Do you want to give us an example of one of your goals?
I would love to. So my goal this year is to get my book on audio.
Oh, nice.
So my goal is to have it completed by the end of the year.
Right.
So there's
in your voice, correct?
in my voice.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm responsible for recording each chapter, and
Okay.
then I have someone who has graciously accepted helping me with editing.
Perfect.
And they're going to help me get started on the record. How to record a chapter.
Right.
Because this is something I've never done before. So it
Yeah.
is going out of my comfort zone. So that's another topic I know we've talked about.
Right.
But this is something that I feel needs to be out there.
That's great.
So so there's a financial part as well, because it does cost money to do a audiobook.
Rent
So
the studio
and
Yeah.
there's equipment that you need to record on, so I'm investing in that, and so
Okay.
and then we'll start recording and be done by the end of the year.
okay.
So
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
great goal.
yeah.
And there's some friends that I have that would never actually read the physical book, but they would listen to it in their car and
Excuse me.
stuff. So, all right. So earlier we mentioned the 8 areas for goal setting, the 8 areas of your life. I'll just kind of run through them. There's career, health and fitness, relationships, financial, spiritual, family, friends, and social, recreation and hobbies, and then home or your environment. Yeah, so
It's a lot.
that is. There's
Some good ones in there.
8 areas that'll well round you.
Yeah.
So I can share, I have a client who was really worried about her career. And I know I mentioned the Cultivate What Matters. She's one of the women that I buy the planner for every year. And she went through it and set her 8 goals. And career was why her and I were working together. And we've kind of got her on the right track there and progressing and knows where she wants to be and is taking steps to get there. The
Fantastic.
first step in her career would be, the PMP, Project Management Professional.
Oh, yeah.
So she got that certificate, and you sit for a 4-hour test and have all these continuing education credits. And so PMP is a big one for her. And then she has a vision of where she wants to get to. And I love how motivated she is. So career is the first thing that we always talk about in her sessions. But I did start to touch on those other 7 areas with her. So once we talk about career, then I ask her how's health and nutrition going? Because she wanted to get a nutritionist. She wanted to feel better, and she's allergic to a lot of different foods. So now she's kind of tuning that in, and it's fun. We do it on Zoom, and it's just fun to watch her change, right? Because I can see her feeling better. Her skin looks better. She's, naturally losing weight.
Wow.
And she just seems so much happier. And one of her first goals was to relocate back to where her family is. So we really touched on the home and environment side of it, right? It was, hey, I realized I'm really not happy in this city. I want to be in that city. That's where my family's at. I want to go back by my family. So that was her first, outside of career goal, that was her first goal, was to get back to that city. And then she started nutrition. So you can kind of do a cascading effect with the 8 areas, right? You can kind of pick and choose, where do I need to focus first?
Yeah.
We always focus on career first, because that's financial, that's, keeping a roof over your head, having a car, taking care of the basic needs. Yeah. So there's a good way to do it. You can focus on, you don't have to focus on all 8 in one year. But I have all the 8, and I kind of know where I want to go. But I will focus on 3 or 4 for the year, and if I can get to the other ones, right? If I'm feeling really motivated. Yeah.
So do you feel like, is it better to be as specific as possible when you're setting your goals? Like,
yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I realized the first year I met all 8 goals that were in my planner, and I realized I need to come up with some bigger goals, right? Think a little bigger.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah. That sounds fun.
I
know I have some clients that that I've helped set their fitness goals.
Nice.
Especially, I've had a few that have decided they wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon.
Nice.
So for those who don't know what the Boston Marathon is, they call it the marathon of marathons because you actually have to qualify with a certain time to get in. So we've come up with goals for clients where we put together a plan for them to meet this goal of qualifying for Boston.
Yeah. Just to give us an idea, how long does it take to train to be able to run a marathon? Right?
Yeah.
Because when you talked about the timing, and I know this because of your history, you have to go and run marathons that are not the Boston Marathon.
Correct.
To qualify.
Yeah.
To be able to run in the Boston Marathon.
Yes.
So that's a big goal.
Yes. So you actually have to run a marathon to get to the Boston Marathon. So you're at least going to be running one marathon.
Right.
There are ways around that where if you raise funds for a charity, you can do that to get into Boston.
Okay.
So charity runners, I guess you could call it. But
nice. And how long does it take for that training program to get to be able to run a marathon?
So typically I say when I'm helping someone just qualify for a marathon or just run a marathon, typically 6 months is a good time frame, because that way you're building a base, you're preventing injury that way.
Right.
If you do too much too soon, there's that risk of becoming injured, so we don't want that. So always make sure to try to
and then
give enough time.
When you run that first marathon, how long do you have to wait for Boston? Or you just
Well, it depends on when you ran your marathon.
Okay.
But then they have, every year they have a qualifying, or they have a time where you apply.
Okay.
So you have to prove that you ran a marathon in the time that is the qualifying time.
Wow.
So that's typically in September.
Okay.
So you get online in September, you sign up, and then they send you a message saying
Wow.
you're in.
Yeah.
And the Boston Marathon is always in April, except during COVID it wasn't.
Okay. So this is like a year-long goal at least, maybe longer. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So it can take a few years, and some people don't qualify
Yeah.
the first time they run a marathon. So
Right.
it's not an easy feat, but
Yeah.
I mean, it took me. That's why we say never give up, because it took
Yes.
me 5 marathons to qualify for
Okay.
Boston for the first time.
Okay.
And then once you qualify, then you keep qualifying because you
Right.
know you can do it, and so you keep doing it.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah.
that's a really good way to change the way you look at things, right? Is once you qualify, you just continue to qualify.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, because like your body knows what that feels like, and
Yep.
so it just will continue to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If that's something you want to do.
Nice. Yeah.
Some people are like, "Yeah, I'm done," but
Yes.
but if you enjoy it
Yeah.
enough, then
That's a
you can keep
good
doing it.
example of the health and fitness goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to throw out there, I know that we have friends that children are going off to college, right? Empty nester.
Yes.
So one of the goals on our list is the recreation and hobbies, right?
Yes.
Do you know what you like to do, right? Kind of ask yourself those questions.
Yes.
Because when your children are gone, there's a good chance you're gonna
be like, now what?
yeah, what do I do with the rest of my life?
Exactly. And a lot of
Yes.
people lose their purpose because they've put so much investment
Right.
into their children that now they're like, okay, what do I do now? And a
Right.
lot of people feel lost.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
we have somebody that we know who ended up finding their a career, hobby / career,
Yeah.
and that's pretty exciting
Yeah.
that they were able to
Yeah.
figure
Digital
that out.
marketing, right?
Digital marketing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good stuff. Yeah. And she has
Yeah.
a new purpose now.
She has a
She
new
still
purpose.
takes care of her kids and goes to support them in their college endeavors.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's also supporting a bunch of businesses doing digital marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our coaches can actually help with finding,
Purpose.
Yeah, finding purpose and setting up your goals and,
Yeah.
kind of keeping people
Yeah.
on track. So,
Yeah, and that's not something that necessarily happens overnight. You have
Right.
to be patient because, there's still, you might be like, well, I don't really like this. Or you may
Right.
start to get into something and be like, well, I don't think this is what I want.
Yeah.
But, the coaches will help,
right.
right? Find, okay,
Yeah.
well, let's keep going. Let's keep, and keep encouraging and
Yeah.
supporting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I was in Denver, there's a coach that I met there, and I just loved her. She held a group coaching session for women that were, wanted to find a serious relationship. And her opening was always, your husband or wife is not going to come and find you sitting on your couch, right? Like, what are
Yeah.
you doing to get out? What are you doing to put yourself out there?
Yeah.
And I feel like after COVID and everything, right, you got to take that step and figure out the friends, family, social, right? What are you doing to get out where you could actually meet someone?
Yes.
If that is important in your life. And even just making friends, that's important, is to get out and yeah. So
Yeah.
But I always enjoy that. It's like, wow, it's such a simple phrase, but
It
it
is.
really hits home where you're like, yeah, no one's going to come find you on your couch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So, and you could have 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, right? There's different goals.
Different goals.
Yeah. As I get older, I'm realizing you only have X amount of time on this earth. So
That's right.
that is my motivator is, podcasting. I think I talked about it for the last couple years.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, when are you actually going to do this?
When are you
so
gonna do this?
we're doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Someone I know used to say, "Are you going to talk about it, or are you going to do it?"
Nice. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think too is getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's a big one.
Yeah.
And I know we've discussed this in previous podcasts about fear-based decisions and how well, if you want to meet these goals, you are going to have to.
Yes.
There is that good chance you're going to have to get
Take
out
a
of your
leap.
comfort zone. And
Yes.
if you're sitting on your couch, like you said,
Yep.
you're not going to necessarily meet your goals that way.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. And like using podcasts for the example, right? I feel like we're learning each episode and we're learning as we go, and
yeah.
it's just going to get better and better. And yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
Exciting.
put yourself out
Love
there.
it. Makes me want to set some goals. Let's do it.
I love it. I'm
Let's
going to
get
buy
out
you
of
one
our-
of those planners.
Sweet.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. And yes, I've nominated you as my accountability partner this year. So.
Okay. Well, you got it.
I already have one for
I'd be honored.
speaking, but now you're going to be my exercise accountability partner.
Okay. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Do you have any examples of people that have set goals and maybe failed at them, or how did they stay on track or become more motivated?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So, they say that majority of people who set New Year's resolutions fail within 6 weeks. Like
Oh, yeah.
before Valentine's Day, they're done.
Yeah.
So why is that? And I think part of the problem is maybe they had too lofty of a goal. You want to be specific, but you don't want to have like, well, I want to lose 30 pounds by, whatever.
4 weeks
And
from
then,
now.
yeah, I mean, you have to be reasonable. and you
Realistic.
Realistic,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay.
part of that is setting realistic goals. And how do you do that? Well,
Right.
we be specific, and we need to know what is healthy, what is
Right.
achievable. So, and that's where our coaches
come
come in handy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
One of the things that I think people, like, they're surprised at maybe how challenging it was going to be, or maybe they don't have the support they need.
Yeah. That's why the accountability partner could
That's
be
why-
good, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's why
have
the
to be a friend
accountability.
or family member. It could be one of our coaches could keep you accountable through your goals.
Yes.
Yeah, accountability partner is huge. The other ways to continue to be motivated are maybe a delayed gratification, right? I know some people who were trying to get out of debt, and while they were doing that, they were not allowed to buy anything above and beyond what they needed just to live, right? And it's, maybe you don't go shopping until you pay off, whatever you need to pay off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so,
a good motivator.
Yes,
And
it
I think that would get sped up if I think about myself and my own goals, like, okay, well, you're not allowed to.
Yeah. I'm going to pay this, and then
Yeah.
a month from now I can go get that,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
Yeah.
not allowed to go to White House Black Market for the night until this is paid off. Ooh.
Yes. Yes.
That,
and in our
delayed.
world, right, of instant gratification
Yeah.
and food delivered to our door, and maybe it's good sometimes to consider going without something so that you could meet a goal and, stay focused on that goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I love to do is a vision board. It gives you something to look at every day, and you can actually take the 8 areas of your life and you can put on there, right, what you want to achieve. Health and fitness. It might be just putting up fruits and vegetables, and or what you want to look like. Is there someone that you admire and that's who you want to?
Yeah.
You want to be that same size, right?
Yeah.
Relationships, you might put something on there, a picture of a man and a woman. I think one of mine had a man and a woman walking on a beach holding hands, but you couldn't see their faces. It was just, I wanted someone to walk on the beach with. So, yeah, you can kind of visualize, all the different areas.
Yeah.
And some people aren't visual, and that doesn't work for them. They may want to write out goals and come up with rewards, or like we just talked about, right? Take something away. You get to reward yourself with that in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we discussed vision boards, I think, in a previous podcast.
We
but
did.
It's like cutting out images either out of magazines or newspapers or wherever we find images, and we put them up on a board.
Right.
And so like you could have a little marathon runner if you want to run a marathon and
Yes.
put that on the
Yeah.
put that on the board, or
Yeah.
the car you want,
Yes.
put that up there. I remember seeing
Yes.
that on your
That
board
actually
one year.
worked for me.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really
Yes.
cool.
Now I drive the car I love. Yes. Yeah, that
That's
was on my
awesome.
vision board.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I
Or
love
even
it.
home and environment, right? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to buy a house? Do you want to be on the beach? Do you want to, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's so neat how
it's
that
fun.
turns out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where do you
it's
want to
exciting.
vacation, right? I think I had Italy
Yeah.
on one of mine, and I've been
Love
there
it.
a couple times now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so we would like to encourage everyone to do some goal setting. I'll go through the 8 areas again. We have career,
Yeah.
we have health and fitness, relationships, financial, spiritual, family, friends, and social, right? What are you doing to foster your family life? Recreation and hobbies, home and environment. So those are our 8 goals. What do you want to achieve for the next year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully
Love it.
we've motivated some people out there today. And if you need help with any of these goals,
Motivated me.
good. If you need help setting any of these goals or an accountability partner, we would be happy to help you. And this does wrap up our discussion for today. If you'd like to connect with us or are interested in meeting one of our life coaches, visit our website, yourcalledtopurpose.com. See you on the next episode.